Good day, grade 12 matriculants, incorporating students operating their metric, teachers in particular, geography teachers, um, people who are curious in learning more about geography. Today, we're going to be discussing a lesson topic under climatology, valley, and urban climate. Let's break it down again. Valley climate, which is a local climate. And lastly, breaking down, it's a slope aspect. First of all, I think we have to give a definition before I explain slope aspect. So I have to give definition of a slope aspect. Okay, a slope aspect is the direction which the slope faces in relation to the sun rays. Let me repeat. Okay, slope aspect is the direction which the slope which the slope faces in relation to the sun rays, yes, is the direction which the slope faces in relation to the sun's rays. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, this definition is saying that slope aspect is the direction. Okay, we have two slopes here. We have this slope, south facing slope, as you can see, and the north facing slope. You can see south facing slope and the north facing slope. So this slope is facing northwards in its region, and also in this slope in this slope is facing in a different or in a opposition direction from this slope. It's facing on its direction, which is southwards, in a south facing slope. Okay, yeah. So the slope facing in relation to the sun rays. Okay, yeah. So a slope aspect, so this means that if these two slopes are the opposite to each other, that means the sun will face only one slope. Yeah, so the sun rays will mostly hit one slope, either north facing slope or south facing slope, but I'll explain further after giving you the second definition. The second definition, I can say the slope aspect is the orientation of the slope with regard to the sun rays. Yeah. So I can say is the orientation of the slope I'm running out of space, of the slope with regards to the sun rays, with regards to the sun's rays. That's the second one. So the second definition, to explain it, this means that a slope aspect is the orientation of the slope with regards to the sun's rays. This means that also, when we're talking about slope aspect, we're looking more on the sun rays, of the sun, which, like which slope is getting more sun's rays from the sun. That is the slope aspect. Yeah. So the very important stuff in these definitions, or when we're talking about slope aspect, we're talking about sun's rays. We're talking about sun's rays. Yes, we're talking about sun's rays. And so, yes, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Guys, please, you should know this definition. You should choose which one you're going to apply during your exams, because in exam they're going to ask this definition. Yeah. I know when it comes to slope aspects or valley climates, they're going to ask this the definition. Okay. Okay, let's get into the context now, into a real context. Yeah. So, as I said to you, this is the south-facing slope. You can see north-facing slope, but in which it depends in which hemisphere, southern hemisphere or northern hemisphere. Yeah. That means all the countries on the southern hemisphere, they will both have south-facing slope and north-facing slope. And also in the northern hemisphere, there will the countries or the local climates or the slopes will have the slopes like these. Yeah, like these. The slopes will have south-facing slope and then north-facing slope. But now, let me say we're talking about southern hemisphere, né? Yeah. Let me say we're talking about southern hemisphere. Let me say we're talking about southern hemisphere, né? Yes. Okay, just before we get into that, let me draw the sun. Okay, no. Let me just explain. We're gonna get it as I'm explaining. It's the same thing. It's the same stuff. So if we're talking about south in southern hemisphere in terms of the slope aspect, in southern hemisphere, so we're going to regard which slope is going to receive more sun rays or is going to receive sun's rays during out the day. In southern hemisphere. So in southern hemisphere, maybe we're talking about here in South Africa or your Zimbabwe, all of these countries in southern hemisphere, your Brazil, your Argentina, yeah. So these in southern hemisphere, the north, this one, it must be an opposite of this of the very first word. In southern hemisphere, the north-facing slope is the one that is going to receive more sunlight or is going to receive sunlight. Let me repeat it. In southern hemisphere, north-facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. So if we're saying this is southern hemisphere, this side is going to receive more sunlight. Let me say this is sun. This is sun. Okay? Yes. This is sun. This is your sun. So these are the sun's rays hitting the northern, the north-facing slope, not the northern. North-facing slope. So the north-facing slope is going to receive more sunlight during out of the day. Yeah. So this side, the south facing slope, is going to be said as um, is going to be said as we can say a shadow zone. Yes, you can say it's a shadow zone. A shadow. Yes, it's going to be a shadow zone because there's no much sunlight or there are no sun's rays hitting this side, the shadow zone. Then the south facing slope is going to be a shadow zone. Then, since there is no much sunlight in the shadow zone, which is the south facing slope in the southern hemisphere, the shadow zone will tend to have some plants that doesn't require much heat or that doesn't require sun's rays in order to go for photosynthesis and so on. So, and also this side is going to be moist. There will be a lot of moisture in the soil of this side of shadow zone of the south facing slope in southern hemisphere. Bear in mind. Okay, so we're going to have maybe these kind of some trees. Yeah, this is the shadow zone. We're not going to have much plant and so on, and this and the bear in mind, I said since there are no sun rays hitting this side. So yes, as I was saying, in this side, in this slope, in this south facing slope, there will be high moisture content because there's less evaporation taking place here. There will be high moisture content this side. There will be high moisture content in this south facing slope in southern hemisphere. We're talking about southern hemisphere. Bear in mind, we're talking about in southern hemisphere. Okay? Yes. So this side is going to experience the opposite of that side. This side is going to be drier and a lot of evaporation will take place in this side. This side is going to be the active side, the north facing slope in the southern hemisphere. It's going to be an active side. This is whereby people, we need sunlight as people. Sunlight is life, yeah. We need sunlight to plant our crops. We need sunlight for our own houses. We need sunlight in other different activities, yeah. So people are going to build in this side. There will be people are going to build this side. People are going to build their houses or they are going to settle in this side, in this north facing slope in southern hemisphere, because they are receiving more sunlight and do their own activities. There are related activities such as farming and other activities. Okay, yes, in this side, because plants or crops, many crops need sunlight to grow. They need sunlight to survive. They need sunlight to go under the process photosynthesis. Yeah. So farmers and other people will live and choose the north facing slope. Yeah, it's up to them, but they will choose this side. Then this side, the shadow zone, receiving no sunlight, and that causing a lot of moisture content in the soil of this side. This side is wetter. It's always wetter, yeah. And this one is kind of like drier and so on. Yeah, but a lot of activities occur in north facing slope. Yeah. Then let's go and discuss in northern hemisphere. In northern hemisphere, right? Then in northern hemisphere, it's a vice versa. It's an opposite of what I told you. In northern hemisphere, which slope? Okay, let me ask you a question. I'm going to give you 2 seconds only. In the northern hemisphere, which slope is going to receive more sunlight? Or is going to receive sunlight? 1, 2, it's up. Okay, yes, it's south facing slope in northern hemisphere. It's a vice versa. Then in northern hemisphere, the north facing slope is going to be a shadow zone. Let me repeat it. In northern hemisphere, it's a vice versa. It's an opposite of southern hemisphere. And then in northern hemisphere, the south facing slope is going to receive more sunlight in northern hemisphere. Then also in northern hemisphere, the north facing slope is going to be a shadow zone. Okay, let me write it down for you guys. Okay, let me just write notes for you guys of the slope aspects. Okay, in southern hemisphere, the north facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. In southern hemisphere, yes, in southern hemisphere, the north facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. In southern hemisphere, the north facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. Then it's an opposite in northern hemisphere. Then in northern hemisphere, the south facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. In northern hemisphere, the south facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. Then it's an opposite. Yes. Then in northern hemisphere, you should know, in northern hemisphere, like in the countries or in the local areas above the equator, over the equator in the northern hemisphere, so we should know, okay, the south facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. Then in southern hemisphere, in the countries below the equator, or the local areas or the local regions below the equator, in southern hemisphere, the north facing slope is going to receive more sunlight. Yes. So if these kind of places are going to receive more sunlight, this means that then the slope that receives more sunlight will experience more human activities. Yes, the slope that receives more sunlight will experience more human activities like farming and other human activities, yeah, like building, construction, and other human activities, yeah. So this is an opposite again. So the slope that will receive less sunlight or no sunlight, just the light, yeah, will experience less human activities or no human activities at all, yeah, which is the shadow zone, yeah. So the north facing slope in southern hemisphere will receive more sunlight, as I said. So the higher temperatures on that side, and so on. Yeah. Okay, let's get back into our diagram. I think you understand now. So this side will have higher temperatures. Temperatures will experience higher temperatures. Lot a lot of evaporation. And this side will experience less temperatures. It will experience shadow. Number 3, this shadow zone will experience will have a lot of humidity, always staying there, not being evaporated. Will experience a lot of moisture content. A lot of moisture content. This side. So this side, yeah. So a lot of activities this side. More human activities. More human activities. And so on. But the most thing that you should know is that in southern hemisphere, the north facing slope receives more sunlight, is the one that is on the sun side. Then the shadow zone is the south facing slope in southern hemisphere. Then in northern hemisphere, the south facing slope receives more sunlight, is in the side of the sun. It's a vice versa, guys. Please don't forget this during your exams. Okay? Yeah. So then the north facing slope in northern hemisphere is the shadow zone. Yeah. Yes. Yes, this I receive more crops. These are the crops. Or I can say here, more crops this side, yeah. This side might be just some animals, this side might just animals and so on, no human activities. Okay, in this side, yeah. And thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to subscribe, guys, like, comment, and share my video. Thank you so much. See you next time. So yes, thank you. We have our crops here. These are the crops, ne? Yeah. Let's take it. These are the crops. Yeah, more crops. And this side there's only like few trees. There are few trees this side. um, and less vegetation. It's only a green grass with wetlands, etc. Yes. Okay.